Were you like, is that an iPod Touch?
Yeah, like, maybe.
I had like an iPod Touch I was going to play music at when I taught class one day, and I think maybe it was you and Chico.
I remember that.
The two lawyers were like, look at this peasant and his like iPod third generation.
We're not that kind of lawyers.
It was awesome. It wasn't that bad.
I don't have much to say.
No, you're asking something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So have you found a new place yet to train?
No, I have not. Okay, there's two places around the area where I'm gonna stay. It's Bushwick and Ridgewood. And there's a couple gyms. I forgot the names. I think one of them has like a weird Russian name. Masterskaya.
That's perfect for you, right?
Yeah,
awesome.
but
A
the
little
guy who
Sambo
owns
style.
it, he's not Russian. He's like Brazilian or American.
Oh,
I don't know.
so is that offensive to you as a Russian?
Not really. It's just
You're,
weird.
what's your heritage? You're like
funny.
You're like half Russian, half, or you're full Russian?
No, I'm like 100% Russian.
You hear him?
Well, I think it's a very like his.
Yeah.
Well, no, he doesn't sound that.
You hear the accent, right?
I'm so.
How dare you question that?
This is your second beer. Chris is already like.
No, my mom is 100% Russian. She's like third, fourth generation probably. And my dad, I think his father was Tatar, and his
What does
mother
that mean?
was
So
Russian.
I'm an ignorant American. I'm a totally ignorant American. So what is that?
Genghis Khan?
Oh.
That kind of.
Okay. So more Eastern.
Asian,
so more
I guess.
Eastern.
I'd say Asian, quite Asian.
Okay.
You're closer to me than Noah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I'm like 25% you essentially.
Yeah, see?
I didn't know this was like a battle of who is closer to who.
It's like, we all want to be close to
Okay,
Roman.
so what was your impression when Mark fucking like? I've never seen Mark run that fast in my life. Okay, so yeah,
I mean,
he fucking Brock Lesnar and Heath Herring. That was fucking hilarious. I was like, what is this guy doing?
Okay, so last month was it when Michelle left?
Yes.
Michelle, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Either way, so Michelle, she left our gym, and I was teaching class that day, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start a new tradition here. When someone leaves the gym, I'm gonna have the class run the pipe on him. And so we did that with Michelle. Basically, everyone in class was like 35 people. It was a lot of people in class that day.
Yeah.
Everybody got like 40 seconds with her, so it was a long time. And today, Roman, unfortunately, it's his last Saturday here, so he got beat out of the gym. So we started on one end of the line and worked our way up, and then Mark Peace, 3-stripe brown belt, was like second to the last person.
Mark.
Well,
and what did Mark do? Roman?
I saw him charging at me. I'm turning my head and see Mark, and he's like running at me. I'm like, oh shit, it's gonna be bad. It was pretty bad. Just as bad as I expected.
Did you feel like those like tourists on like those like drive-through safaris when like the rhino is just like
kind of
like
that kind of
like stomping up
that
dust.
kind of feeling. Yeah.
That was ridiculous.
Dude, it was just fucking highlight reel. It was just fucking highlight reel. Mark was like, I saw him like run out. I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And he came out, and what did he do? He grabbed your head, or he tried to...
I don't know, man. The next thing I felt is just I need to tap.
Dude, and then he grabbed your head, and he wasn't even trying to do anything. He was just trying to rip it off, man.
Yeah,
it was fucking hilarious.
I mean, Brian get you with? That's Brian, by the way.
Yeah, Brian. Brian the mic.
Brian.
Brian get you with there. I saw you tapping. I didn't realize.
Hit us with your melodious, those melodious vocal cords.
Ooh. Yeah, it was. Man, I wish I had a name for it. I really do. It was essentially just a straight ankle lock, except when you come across and grab the far side lapel, and you can lock it to your own chest.
You were doing that to me back at Glenn's.
Back in the day, and I haven't done it for years. And I was like, oh, okay. The foot appeared, and I was like, well, I was using it as a sweep. It wasn't even going to be a submission yet. I was trying to build my feet up his hips, and he tapped before, and I was like, ooh.
You realize like you're building the feet like 6 inches is the equivalent of like me wrapping my entire thigh around, right?
Yeah.
So like as you tighten the boa constrictor.
I mean, some of that is because of physics and the fact that I'm literally 3 times the size of most people practicing. My love of cheesecake and other pastries is the main reason for that.
The ultimate jiu-jitsu, one might say. What's your ultimate jiu-jitsu, Roman?
I don't even know. I meal prep
I feel
every
like
week.
Vladimir Putin's like listening. He's like, I hope he doesn't divulge state secrets here on this podcast. You know what I mean? So the joke, I don't know if so. I like pulling back the curtain on. Because people talk about like talking behind people's backs and all this in cultures. This is not just here.
Everyone does it.
Everyone does it, and I like. If people ask me like, "What are you talking about behind people's backs?" I will tell them to their face. Like I have no problem doing it. So I don't know if you're aware, but the thing that you're known, and I say known for, the joke. And we might have made the joke in front of you.
It's okay.
No, I think we made. I know, but we're here and he's having a beer. But I feel like I don't know if he's in on the joke yet or not. He might be. Maybe it's not a surprise. But and I think you do know this. But the joke about you has always been because you're a lawyer, or you claim to be a lawyer. We've never seen you actually allegedly a lawyer, and you're always well dressed. So we always think and then you're out for periods of time, like you'll train and then you'll be gone for a week. No. We think he's doing like top secret KGB stuff in Russia, and then he comes back. So it's like it was always 007 and then some Russian guy. He's the Russian guy. So I feel like he goes like he's an operative somewhere. That's always been our thing. He's an operative somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's the first time I'm hearing this joke. Okay? Like literally every single friend of mine, at some point he or she makes this joke. Like, oh, what a KGB agent. I'm like, oh, okay. I see what you're doing here.
That's awesome.
No,
are you?
I'm not. For the record, I'm not.
So Roman, what?
Are you winking at me? Is he winking? Is he like giving me Morse code?
Roman, what got you at the gym here? What brought you in?
I just moved to Orlando. I was looking for something for a hobby, I guess.
Have you done anything before?
I did some boxing back in Russia a while ago.
You had your 10-year stint in Dagestan?
I wish I had. No, I had a bunch of friends who were into martial arts and boxing and Muay Thai.
So when you started here, this was your first time training Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, like systematically, yeah.
So you were no stripe white belt?
Zero.
Now, what was your process finding gyms? Did you like drop into other gyms?
Oh, man, I called my homies in Chelyabinsk. And I'm like, hey.
Wait, your home, what?
Homies in Chelyabinsk. This is the city where I'm from.
Oh, he's dropping some knowledge on us, man.
Yeah,
the 411.
Yeah.
Is this
It's by Ural Mountains.
Is he tapping the foot like Khabib's like his homie?
Man.
I mean, actually, your facial hair is starting to look like it. I don't know if I.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
But he's drinking alcohol, so that's actually.
That's because he's trying to keep a low profile in the U.S.
Blend in.
He stealthily swapped it for a bottle of like Red Bull.
Well, I remember stories, and this is going on a side tangent, but I remember diplomats in. No, I remember the stories of diplomats going to Russia and like coating their stomach with mayonnaise so they could handle all the vodka, and then trying to like empty it.
No, man, you gotta use butter. It's better.
See, it tastes better. He knows.
Yeah, Brian.
You gotta eat like a spoonful of butter.
Brian, this is new to us.
Yeah.
It's not though.
It's like
Jose Figueroa, when he fought over there, he said something about this. Like they are drinking, so they were drinking an absurd amount of vodka. I think he said he didn't partake that much, but just witnessing it was kind of shocking.
Stereotype. Stereotypes exist for a reason, right? But like, obviously it's developed from somewhere. Is it that bad?
What exactly?
Like the sheer amount of like just pure vodka drunk that
people drink a lot.
Is it really like legit?
I mean, I don't know.
Like functionally, I mean, like
how much does a bottle of vodka cost?
Oh man, I haven't been there for a year at this point. I don't remember when I bought vodka last time. I think it was like $3, $3 or $4.
It's just like, oh, vodka. Let's pick some fresh vodka. It just came out of the
yeah.
Or you tap the tree like I tap maple syrup up in Maine.
Does everybody distill their own, like in Italy, where everybody just like there's like a family wine? Like, does everybody have like a family distillery?
Man, nah. I wish. People are getting into beer somehow gradually, but they don't distill vodka. It's expensive. It's a lot of work.
Oh hell yeah, man!
Like older generations, they do, but it's not like
you can just buy it. It's like
vodka. It's more like a moonshine kind of thing. berries and sugar, and you ferment it and then distill, and that's how you get moonshine.
Sounds so bootleg. A friend of ours, Joe, actually Paul's former business partner. Is that too much behind the curtains?
The baby Wolverine, as some would call him.
Who? Joe Pernia?
Yeah.
Baby Wolverine?
That was a terrible nickname.
Where the fuck did that come
Gene
from?
Carroll tried to start.
That's a terrible nickname.
It was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Is it because of his hair?
I have no idea, but it was the worst nickname, and I said, I will never let this go.
So we need to go back to calling Gene Macklemore then, if that's the case. So everybody out there, all of our listeners, anytime you've seen Gene Carroll, you need to say, hey man, you look just like Macklemore. Because he fucking hates that. So, I saw
him at brunch the other day too. Really
Gene?
weird. Literally just saw Gene, and it was very weird.
Was he eating by himself?
No, he was leaving.
Is it weird to eat by yourself at restaurants? Like to go to get brunch? Who eats by themselves here? No.
I mean, I eat by myself all the time.
I eat by myself at home because I like to cook.
Yeah.
So I don't eat. Actually, I will say I used to always go to the same sushi place in Altamont Springs when I had my software engineering. No, it's Hana Sushi. Although I don't recommend them anymore because I feel like they changed their.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Your sushi before sushi was cool.
Yeah, no, but it was. But I would go there.
Fucking sushi hipster.
I just enjoyed sitting
Don't
at
let
the
him judge
bar,
you.
watching him make sushi, and I was making good money at the time, so I could order as much as I want without thinking about what the cost was, and that was good living. Now, I'm doing my own thing, and I care more about jiu-jitsu, so I'm just kind of like training jiu-jitsu and trying to work as little as possible.
What are you gonna miss most about Orlando?
Weather. I'm gonna miss weather.
Correct answer was the people.
I'm trying to be honest here, okay?
I'm gonna miss the people. You guys are my brothers. I love you guys.
Oh yeah, of course. People.
At least you could use name dropped a little bit.
That could have gone much worse. He was still PG. That could have gone
Yeah.
way
He's a married man, so.
I say terrible stuff. I miss it.
People like here, it's the thing about friendship. Friends, they kind of stay in your life, you can move around, but
you guy up there named Chris who's a brown belt and super nice.
Shut up, Chris.
You're fucking done. I have no Roman.
No.
Sorry.
No, it's people tend to stay in each other's lives.
Can you tag me in all your posts up there?
Yeah, sure. I don't post that much, but
Chris
I
is
will.
gonna be like
I'll do my best.
low-key. He's gonna be like
Okay.
he's gonna be checking your social. He's gonna be shadowing. He's gonna be in the back.
You forgot
Click
to
and
tag
refresh.
me today.
F5.
He's like, I want daily like training check-ins like I do, but I want you to tag me even though I'm not there.
Even not in New York.
I'm in your spirit. I'm in your thoughts whenever you're training. So actually, we because we got sidetracked. You were a total like white belt when you started, right?
Yeah.
So how long did you train before you got your how long have you been training here now? 3 years, you said?
2.5.
2.5 years.
2 years, 8 months.
Okay, and
Who's counting?
I am.
We got left off. You said you talked to your homies back in the hood, back in Russia, about finding us. And
they're like,
that's
Your words.
So how did you end up on this gym? Like, how did you find?
They're like, what, in Florida? You should go to an American top team gym.
Really?
Yeah.
So the American top team name sold you on it.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, why?
you live-
And he's like, they're
How far away
like,
do you live from here?
About 5 miles. I used to live in Baldwin Park.
He lives right next to me, actually.
Yeah, and now I live next to Noah.
So it's about like a 10 to 15 minute drive without traffic, and then with traffic, and be like 30
up to
minutes.
35 minutes.
Okay, so this would be. So actually, you might be closer to the jungle.
We're closer to the jungle, and we're closer to
I've been
Gracie
there.
Baja for sure.
What do you think about them, Roman?
I've never been there. I
You've never
cannot
been there?
pass the judgment. Yeah,
Tell
I
me all
don't
about
know
your
enough
thoughts
about
the
it.
jungle.
I have a friend of mine who used to
What if we
train
have a
there.
listener from the jungle?
But
One of my good friends who will be on the show shortly is from the
Okay.
jungle.
sounds ominous.
Ooh, what are your thoughts?
We're gonna cross pollinate. Are we gonna gym storm them? Are we gonna go in and be like, "Hey man, our blue belts are tougher than your blue belts, but your purple
because
belts are savages."
I know Seth, and Seth was Paul's former business partner, so
Yeah.
you remember that, yeah.
I remember all that. I want to let's take this a different direction because we're talking about the positive things, and we gotta have a little bit of excitement. So obviously, you said your homies, Khabib in Russia, told you about American Top Team. But I want to know: were there any gyms that they specifically said to not go to?
Ooh.
Now wait. Now, if there were, you don't have to say them on air. I
Yes,
still
you
don't
do.
know them.
You're leaving. No one's gonna care.
Exactly. They'll just hate us.
Khabib is not gonna like this. Don't do it.
They didn't say anything specific, but I figured it myself which gyms I shouldn't go to. I was doing
what did you choose?
the beginners classes, the free trials, and I'm like, okay, I'm not coming here. This is lame.
So how many? So you dropped in at other gyms and took
Like
classes.
3 or 4 maybe.
And how did they compare?
Okay,
to...
see, I was looking for striking in the beginning, and I mean you can tell when people are putting effort into what they're doing, and when it's just a fitness thing, like 10 push-ups, then they hit the back, then
Cage fitness.
do sit-ups. Yeah. It was like,
cardio boxing?
yeah,
Glamour gym, you might say?
Kind of.
Does it begin with a U? And end with an
It wasn't
FC?
very glamorous, but it was lame. I could tell.
Or perhaps an L? And a fitness? Or a boxing?
Stop, man. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Getting too close. Too close for safety.
Marco,
Gonna get sued for that.
Marco, Polo.
So you want to get into fighting, like legit,
Yeah,
make you strong.
Yeah, kinda. This is the whole point of martial arts,
Did
right?
you start Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu at the
I
same
started
time?
Muay Thai first. I was training Muay Thai for half a year before I picked up Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
What?
Oh. Oh, really?
It's alright.
It's better than vodka.
It's better than warm vodka.
Is it?
Vodka.
It was gross. I downed that last bit. So let me ask you. You said you were looking for striking, and this is my contention, not my contention, my hypothesis.
Yep.
Often people will join wanting to do quote MMA, and so they end up doing to get the foundation. They do like Muay Thai. They get the foundation in Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
8 out of 10 end up doing more Jiu-Jitsu and less striking, and will almost give up striking altogether. Agree or disagree?
I agree, kinda.
Why did you?
I kinda
Just out of
agree.
curiosity.
Well, personally, I think there's more structure to grappling.
Really?
There's more. I don't want to say that it's more to learn. It's just, there's more structure. There's more techniques than let's say in Muay Thai. Muay Thai is pretty limited technique-wise, and you gotta practice a lot.
Say that
like
really
each,
quietly because Bobby's teaching right over there.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't think you listen.
I want to speak
No.
freely. Come on.
We love you.
I love you,
No, I mean I do, and I love your sense of humor.
but so yes, there's more. It's more limitless, sort of. Like there's more
There's more depth to that. No, it's not. It's not the right.
fighting words.
Sorry to butt in, but if you were to
We have an amateur kickboxer.
yes,
According to Fox 35 News, by the way.
a rather
speaking-
famous one at that back in 2012, I believe.
What?
It was a whole nother thing.
What?
That's
35, whatever.
Fox
whatever.
35.
We're going deep here.
Yes.
Deep cuts here.
So this is true insight from a true amateur kickboxer.
Yes. Now, if you were to just look, and obviously people who are listening can't look, but if you were to look at the amount of people we had in class for jiu-jitsu versus the amount of people currently taking kickboxing, I mean, I think it speaks for itself. That's all. Like, literally, just turn your head.
Brian.
Yeah.
I'm shaking my head no when my face is all red.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're ready because...
From the beer?
Yeah, from the 5.9.
Yeah, it's probably alcohol.
I mean, admittedly, it's from an empty stomach and alcohol. And I'm just hot right now.
You really do look like a drunk Asian, like the stereotype of a drunk Asian.
like an American Indian.
Yo, guys, you want some more beer? I have some in my car.
Did you bring some?
I have
my God.
no.
I have to watch my kid and
I did
go to
not
John's
yes,
party
it is
after
cold.
this.
It is cold. It's in the cooler. I'll be
So
back.
pass the mic off. Don't walk away with the mic. Give it to me. Yeah, there you go.
Brian, welcome. So, Brian, I've known
welcome,
you at this point since when?
Ooh, University in Dean.
That's what I thought, right?
Which
Like
was, if I recall, it was right around 2006.
6 or 7, right? Like,
Yes.
you were the quintessential garage gym dude.
Embarrassing, but yes, I was.
But that's what was available, right? I
Yeah,
mean, like,
it was.
Where'd you live?
I lived in Lake County, Fruitland Park, Florida, and it was literally just a bunch of people who wanted, because we had no access to anything. This is a long time ago. It wasn't nearly as popular. Now they have multiple well-accredited gyms out there. But we had none of that. So it was just like 6 people in a garage. And I'll never forget, we were all doing half guard and heel hooks. That's all we did in this garage.
Look at this. Mr. Avant-Garde himself.
Yeah.
Half guard and heel hooks.
Did you have like the green Gracie mats or what?
Jesus, I don't know. I think we had the
children's alphabet mats.
No, I think we had like the old puzzle mats.
Oh, that was my next thing. The puzzle mats.
Yeah,
like what we used to have out here.
No, nowhere near as nice as that. We had the puzzle mats that were designed for like Taekwondo that should not have your head or anything safe on them.
Did you ever clean these?
You know what's crazy? All right, so. And I trained out there for a couple months.
Drop. Do it all you want. Come on.
Oh, no. There's no name dropping. But I trained out there for a couple
Brandon
months.
Ocasio. I'm name dropping right now, baby.
I trained out there for a couple of months.
What was his fucking nickname?
The Spider. You know,
the Spider?
He wants to come down and train, right?
What's that?
He wants to come down and train. He's still.
Oh!
Look at this. Look.
Oh my God!
Some level of growler.
He brought a growler. I love it.
That is 8%.
Holy fuck! Well, I'm definitely having some.
Chris is about to get crunk AF.
The problem is, we need cups.
And the problem is, I actually got to go.
Bullshit.
I have to go because I have to go get Connor before Stacy. Stacy's got a hair appointment at 2. So
we had a conversation about this last night that you should
behind the that's behind the curtains. But so
you should bring Connor to the podcast and let him participate.
Oh, next week.
All right.
You can't give us 10 more minutes.
Okay,
10 more
minutes.
Okay. Because I literally had to carve out time. I had to negotiate with my terrorist girlfriend for this. I was like, because we have to go to brunch.
You have a kid without having a kid.
Yes. Well, no, she's like just a terrorist. I love her. I do. I've met her a handful of times. She's great. She's going to find a way to hear this, no matter what happens. She somehow always finds ways, and it's always unbeknownst to me. But she's awesome. But I had to negotiate with her, which was worse than pulling teeth. And I negotiated. I negotiated till 1, and I have to leave
till 1. Okay,
at 1.
You got me for 10 more minutes.
Okay, but I have you for 10 more minutes, and I have them for about 15 even after that, and I gotta get cleaned up.
Roman though, so you're married.
Yeah.
Roman's married.
Yeah,
you're basically. Brian's basically married. I'm married with a child. Spouses / jiu-jitsu. Explain.
My wife doesn't like it.
Why does she not like it?
She's okay with me doing that. She thinks it's manly. It's like,
she thinks it's manly.
Yeah,
interesting.
She does think that.
Come on, Brian. Get that fucking moth.
She herself, she doesn't want to get into that.
Okay, fair enough, and that's
she's
fine.
not interested.
She's okay with you. So
she's totally okay with me.
In your
doing
3 years now of doing martial arts, have you found yourself? I want to train all the fucking time.
Yeah. I can do it full time. I can do it full time. I just do it after work.
Okay.
I have my 2 hours.
Or were you training?
Okay, so in a good week, I train 4 days a week.
Oh, excellent.
And then 3 days a week, I just do some.
You do something
activities.
Activities. Are you doing that with your wife?
Go outside,
like some running and stuff, like with your wife.
Camping. I don't know, like something.
And so is that something you guys block out? You're like I've got 6 hours a week at this point to do me time, fitness time, jiu-jitsu time. And your wife's doing something else. She's doing her own thing.
Yeah, she does yoga, hot yoga, Pilates.
So let's say you were like, baby, I need one more day of jiu-jitsu. What happens?
Oh, she'll be fine with that.
Really?
We can negotiate. We can negotiate.
You can negotiate. Well,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, like you
she's
have the trained skills.
She's very understanding.
You're like a black belt in like negotiation, right?
Yeah,
you're a lawyer.
Kind of.
Brian, I basically married.
Started it for a little bit.
I want to live the Brian, basically married. Yeah. You want to live the jiu-jitsu lifestyle. What do? You want to live. You want to train 7 days a week. How do you negotiate? What's your balance?
All right. So if I could train 7 days a week, she would be okay with that. She would
lies.
All true.
Do not put words in her mouth.
I'm 100% true with that. I cannot because of my work schedule, which is why I train in the morning. which is also why I'm essentially a ghost. If you notice, I've been training for essentially the same amount of time as Chris. I'm in no pictures. You all have.
What are you talking about? You're in every morning picture Tuesday.
No,
Thursday.
all right. So you remove the morning pictures and look at the previous decade. I'm not in a single picture.
That's a good point.
Not one. No one knows I exist.
Everybody knows.
What do you do?
What I do? I'm a restaurant manager.
Okay.
It's okay. Drop your business, man. Sponsor us.
I'm a restaurant manager at Tibby's New Orleans Kitchen.
1% what?
What's our discount code when we go visit
I will drop y'all a 20% discount
Woo!
if you come in when I'm working.
Tibby's announcement, 20% discount.
Tibby's.com.
Brian ATT Orlando, baby.
Tibby.com promo code Brian McKenzie. BMac promo code enter BMac for 20% off now on CBD oil as well.
Ryan, Roman, what's your discount code for us
Oh man,
for legal services?
Oh yes.
it's negotiable.
What a
It depends. It depends on the case.
Actually, do you know?
You know.
Actually, I might need to talk to you. Or do you do public defense, right?
I'm a public defender.
Okay.
I
Very admirable
used to be
of
up until a week and a half ago.
How are you with like business law, like forming businesses and contracts between
I can look into
businesses
that.
and employees? Okay,
can
maybe I'll
look
talk
into
to you
that.
offline about that before you go. In your inebriated state.
Fun fact, you know about the not being able to sign contracts under duress, right? This would actually fall into duress because of alcohol.
How is this duress? We are not threatening him in any way.
No. But
interpretation. I mean, after what?
I am
What a motherfucker, dude! You're such
I
a
am
lawyer.
confident.
This might be our best podcast ever. By the way.
I am confident, despite the fact that I'm not an attorney. I did pretend to be one for 6 years. This is a true story. And I do know that
It is a hell of a drug.
no, it wasn't. It was pre-Reddit. But if you can prove you're under duress, and I would like to believe being intoxicated would fall under the duress. Now, granted, you don't have to just be at knife point or gun point and be threatened, but you can prove that you weren't in your proper mental state, which alcohol is known to do. You can
Chris
get that
also
contract
put him
null
through the
void.
ringer, and Mark jumped him.
You know, I did not see that at all. I was talking to John, and then everyone was talking about it. Like, I missed the most exciting part of the match.
Oh, it was so
But
unbelievable.
And before you go, and I wanted to talk about this, and I don't know if you all did discuss it while I was in there just contemplating my sad jiu-jitsu. What we discussed, the thought process behind strongest technique.
Ooh,
all right, not strongest
let's
technique,
get
strongest
meta here.
Yes.
Okay, I did think about it. So
Well, no, wait.
Brian
Explain.
Okay, so Brian challenged me Thursday morning as we were leaving class. I was heading to work, and Brian's like, "No, you're not getting to work on time." As I'm trying to get to my car.
He's like, "Don't be a pussy, Chris. Fucking be a man, take top position, and smash people."
Yeah,
Now,
I am a
Brian
bully.
asked
I did
me
do that.
Okay, so like there are these quintessential techniques, right? What is the strongest submission?
Yeah, well, it was not just that, but there's a generally accepted, like everyone has their favorite, right? We can all say we have a favorite move from butterfly, favorite move from closed guard, favorite move from the back. But what is the most powerful in each position, and can we come to an agreement on that? And if we could come to an agreement on that, why doesn't everyone use just those
I thought about
techniques?
it all Thursday, you fucker. You kept me so unproductive at work. So we agreed upon.
Yeah.
I mean, just me and you agreed upon strongest submission, rear naked choke, right?
Yes.
It's the fucking life ender. It's not even the fight ender. It's the life ender,
Yeah.
right? And then you asked me what was.
That'd be a way cooler name, by the way. In Eddie Bravo's
life
system, the
ender?
rear naked choke is called the life ender.
Yeah, that's in the Jiu-Jitsu system.
Yes.
Where you don't do anything and wait for people to do things and you tap. It's the life ender. So we agreed upon the life ender, and I argued that the strongest sweep might be like Tomonagi, because Paul hit it on me like 4 times on Tuesday.
Now, is Tomonagi...
Tomonagi.
Recency bias.
So yeah, so
Right? Yeah, that's what I feel like.
Wow, fuck you both. So Tomonagi is where it's like the monkey flip when you think of like Captain Kirk.
Also, Ken and Ryu both did it in Street Fighter.
That's true, but they rolled 3 times. Ryu rolled twice. Ken rolled 3 times. So I argued that, but okay. But you were like, think about that more. So I thought about it more, right? And I thought to myself, butterfly sweep.
Sumagaeshi, or Sumagaeshi is Some are pronounced. I don't know. I don't speak.
So basically, like same side instep under the thigh.
Yep.
Right, because you form yourself into a perfect ball, attach yourself via instep, and it's purely the person's weight and structure and imbalance causing the sweep.
Correct. It takes very
Roman,
little.
thoughts. What is the quintessential sweep?
It's deep.
Deep
You
half.
sound about right. I'm not sure about the strongest sweep. I think the best submission is bow and arrow.
Boo!
It's good.
Life ender.
I like it.
I do like Life Ender as a name. I support that.
Well, I guess that's the other thing. Are we talking about in a gi or without a gi? Because
Yeah,
bow
it
and arrow
matters.
is...
This, huh? Always back to this.
It depends. It depends.
Okay, bow and arrow.
I think we have to take away your car keys, Chris. No, just for the sake of the podcast.
Gotta keep
The
them
best
around.
Chris is 5.9% Chris.
But no, and it wasn't there.
3 minutes. 3 minutes. Countdown
To at least,
for Chris.
to the best of my knowledge, there wasn't a correct answer. Even if you agree with people, it's still going to be whatever you do well. Because let's say technique A, and we'll call it the Life Ender. But let's say I'm much better at the inside heel hook, and I submit everyone with the inside heel
They
hook.
don't die.
Okay, well, I mean, a little part of them will die when it gets cold outside.
That's true.
And the weather change forces them to limp. A little part of them dies. Their soccer career also dies then and there. But is that great technique useful? And even if it is agreed upon as the best technique or the most powerful technique versus the most devastating, is it useful or is it beneficial to me? But it doesn't change the fact that the answer is still no. I could have the best rear naked strangle on the planet. If I have no ability,
Guy, strangle.
if I have no ability to get to the back or maintain the back, it is useless. Is it not? So let's say and just for sake of talking about things that are currently in meta, let's say that I'm good at butterfly and I'm good at off balancing and elevating and getting into honey hole or any of the new variations of 50-50, the outside sankaku. And I'm very good at that. I mean, I'm still going to go to that, whether or not the other one's more powerful or deemed more powerful. Right?
I would agree. But so I like to use SBG as my sort of like why do you do that? They know the true jiu-jitsu, kinda.
Do they?
I mean,
Quick question: how many guys have they put through ADCC?
how many people have they put?
Meddling at ADCC. And this is not
How many Ted plan to put through? Well, actually, more.
Vinny. That's true. Vinny is the first one. And this
he a
is
10th
not
Planet guy?
This is not an attempt to.
But SBG, so like he would argue, Matt Thornton's their head instructor. He says, so what do you do against somebody who is strong enough, tough enough, and despite having their arm broken, their leg broken, etc. Right? Like, what do you do against that person?
you transition to the back. I mean,
Then you do what?
I mean, you do what?
And you choke the fuck out of them, right? Because nobody can fight if they can't breathe.
Of course. Now,
So, like,
he's not the only person to
No,
say
man,
this
you go
also.
full Batman from The Dark Knight Returns, and you
Yeah.
proceed to keep breaking every appendage
pretty-
because
I'm pretty sure
this
Bane
is the
did that.
operating room, and I'm the surgeon.
Ooh.
Okay, fair. I mean, but that was a KC fighting method, by the way. I did watch the extras in that DVD. All complete bullshit.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, I'm calling KC out right now.
Did you guys see the video that Jamie posted of the rear naked choke defense?
Yes. Oh no.
Yes.
That's a
So
good way
did
to
you
get
see that, Roman? What? Okay,
I want to get your reaction right now on this. So
That's a good way to get somebody
I'm gonna
killed.
pull this up. This is ridiculous because I thought it was honestly softcore porn at first.
I gotta.
What? You're leaving?
No,
now?
I really have to go. Like I have responsibilities, man.
Responsibilities.
Yeah, fuck that shit. But the lady's really hot though,
Yes, she is.
and it definitely looked like a softcore porn.
He's talking about the video, Stacy. Just to let you know.
The guy's reaction, oh wow, he made me let go.
Oh my god. I feel so uncomfortable. I cannot escape.
Dude, it was the weakest 10-finger choke ever. It was like, all right, take it easy, Chris. All right, Roman, I'm going to pass you the mic while I bring up. Actually, I'll bring up the video on my phone because it's actually, for some reason, no, you keep it.
Sure.
Okay. For whatever reason, Facebook on my phone is faster than Facebook on the computer. Don't ask me why. So
It's because it's old, man.
because it's old.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Even though it's your computer as well. All right.
You
Check
think
this
mine
video.
is fast?
Here you go.
Jesus. Okay.
Okay. Now, Natalie, I got a really tough choke on you. What are you gonna do?
It's so tight right now, your grip. I cannot even think straight, Brian.
Most of these attackers don't want you to be able to think. They want to capitalize on that moment when you're not thinking. Okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab my arm with both of your wrists traditionally. Good. But guess what? I've got a really tough grip on here. Okay? So what you're gonna do instead is you're gonna sink your chin right into the meat of my arm, right where all those tendons and pressure points are. And what you're gonna do is grab the back of your head with both of your hands. Good. And you're just gonna sink right on down. Wow. Jeez.
So that's right. You take your hands off the choking arm, you go to the back of your head, and you choke yourself into the guy's
I
forehead.
mean, yeah. This is not exactly what Paul showed us.
No, it's not exactly what Paul showed us, but that's fucking hilarious. So that he posted that, and
pretty
I didn't go too crazy with my comment, but that was pretty insane. So we were actually talking about you training here and you visiting other gyms.
Yeah.
So when you came here, you talked about attention to detail or care and the instructors. Is that basically what made you decide to stay here out of all the other places you visit, or was there some other factors that played a role?
These and we have a great community here.
And you were able to pick up on that
you
vibe early
can
on?
always tell what kind of community is this. With the gyms, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
So any luck with what you're going to do up in New York? Like, are you going to try to train at Marcelo's or
I'll check it out.
Henzo's?
I'll
you're
check
gonna
it out. Yeah, I'll do a trial class.
You know who's up there right now? I don't know if he's there long term. Is Chihuahua?
Is he in New York? I thought
in New
he's
York
in
right now.
Spain.
Oh, you're behind the
didn't
times,
work
man.
out?
He went
Okay.
to, so he left here. He went to Spain for this big job in Barcelona, and all we saw on his Instagram story was him partying all the time.
Okay. Yeah, sounds
he
like
can't
Barcelona.
defend himself because he's not here, but I don't care. So I'll have to get him to Skype in to defend
this
himself.
is
But
so
yeah,
funny.
so yeah, he didn't. He just was partying all the time. It looked like he was supposed to be some sort of like promoter because he has a degree in music.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the producer side, he wanted to work at Spotify in Miami. That didn't go through, so he went to Barcelona. Within a month or two, he's like suddenly in Amsterdam and doing a world tour. I'm like, what are you doing? Turns out he had already like left his job. He was like, let me just go on a Euro trip. Then he was back in Colombia, and now he's in New York. I don't know for how long, but I just found out he's in New York.
Must be nice. I want to do a Euro trip. Yeah, I'd love to see him there. It's
I know.
always fun to meet people at a different place,
So yeah, the big thing with New York, and I think I don't know if it's easier for you to go out to Jersey, but Gary Tonin has a school in Jersey.
No, I'll be on the east side.
You'll be on the east
I'll be
side.
on like the Long Island side.
Oh,
Brooklyn, man.
there's a Marcelo black belt. So look for Peak Jiu-Jitsu. It's
Okay.
Jace. Fuck, I'm not going to know his name. His last name's like Sativa or Satava. He's a black belt under Marcelo. He's a young guy.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I can show you like the Instagram and stuff.
Okay,
You might
yeah.
wanna check
I
that
mean,
out. That's
we have
on
friends
Long
on
Island.
Facebook. I'll talk to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me get there first. I know where I'm living, but I need a gym within 30 minutes from my place.
Yeah, I know. That's that's how that works.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I guess you're heading out into the world.
Yeah.
I was talking like I was telling these guys it's like people come and go, but whenever someone that's like accumulated some time like you have,
Yeah.
it's like you're no big deal, they'll come back, but then you like kind of notice it over time. You're like, fuck, that guy I used to roll with and have fun with. So who are some of the guys, like who are the guys you enjoyed rolling with, We're not going to talk about the guys that you didn't enjoy rolling with, because I'm sure there are people
Mike.
that are a little special. You like Sahibi?
Mike, yeah. Oh, I always learn something new from him.
Yeah.
Mark, surprisingly. And didn't hurt me too bad. I mean, just a finger.
Just a finger?
Yeah. You know,
Oh, I
you're
appreciate
freaking
that.
good. Man, pretty much everyone.
So I remember. Let me tell you.
There's a lot of people you can learn from.
So let me tell you a story about you. I don't know if you, because I know we never really talked about this, but I had a roll with you once, and I think it was actually a no-gi, and I managed to get you in a triangle, and I could not submit you, and I kept you in this triangle for I want to say at least 2 minutes. Like I was looking at the clock, and you were just fighting it out, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, is my triangle?"
Oh, it wasn't that good.
I was like, Jesus, like how, like what the fuck's going on here? And because of that, I realized how to like finish triangle chokes better. Like I learned, like I wasn't covering your shoulder.
Yeah.
So it's like the one. Nobody can see this because it's an audio podcast, but obviously the arm that's through on the triangle, that shoulder was keeping you alive the whole time, because I was kind of looking more straight on. But yeah, I remember researching after that. Like I was like, why the fuck did I not finish this? Like, what did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss?
It's good.
I remember that
Learn
with
something.
that roll with you, and then I was like, man, this Roman's tough, man. I was just sitting in this triangle and I was squeezing, and that was in the time where I was a little less mindful of people, so I probably cranked on your head a few times, like tap,
It's all right. It's a part of the game.
No, I know. Well, I know you're used to Dagestani, you know.
Wrestling bears.
Exactly. Do you go back to Russia at all?
I was there last year. I was there for the last New Year's. I think I'll be going there more often once I move, because there's a straight direct flight from New York to Moscow. There's no direct flight from Orlando to Moscow. There's only Miami, Moscow, and New York, Moscow, which sucks.
I find the same thing, because I have friends in Madrid, and there are direct flights from Orlando, but they're direct flights out of Miami.
Yeah. So you have to get to Miami, get to Moscow, get from Moscow to my hometown, and that's where I see my friends and my mom.
How long is it from Moscow to your village? Are you in a
not
village?
a village.
Town,
It's a
small
city the size of Tampa, I'd say.
Okay.
Maybe a little smaller.
And how do you get there?
bigger than
Take train, a
Orlando.
bus, drive?
Train is about 2 days.
Train is 2 days, so you have to fly.
Yeah, you fly. It's a couple hours.
Damn, so
But
you're
yeah.
really east.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So would you recommend, I've always had this fantasy of doing the Trans-Siberian.
Yeah, do that. I've never done that, but it sounds fun.
Okay.
I would do it.
I'll
when I
do
have
that,
a
and I'll make
chance,
sure I stop at your village if it's somehow along the way.
Yeah. Man, come on, it's a big city.
Okay, I always say...
You know the boxer Kovalov? Kovalov? He's my homie.
Kovalev.
Yeah, he's from my hometown.
Oh, look
he's
at
from
you!
there.
Look at you, bro.
Yeah.
What? How old are you when you came to the States?
27.
27.
Yeah.
And did you do?
Oh, I came here for school.
You came here for school.
Okay, yeah.
Damn, bro, that's crazy. So what was the big? How did you learn English so fast? Because your English is really good.
Oh, thank you. I lived here for about a year, a little less than a year, 10 months or 9 months in Colorado, in Vail, actually.
Oh, damn, with all the fancy pants up there. Damn, look at you, man. What were you doing in Vail? With all the Sikhs and the rich people and
housekeeping, maintenance, blue collar jobs,
okay,
waiting tables, riding bikes, skiing. You know,
that's awesome.
You know
dude.
what people do in Vail?
Oh yeah,
simple
for
people
sure.
like me.
Yeah.
And then I came back home, and then I moved here once I graduated. Worked for a few years, and then moved.
So what was your level of English when you first came?
How I learned English. I studied in middle school and in high school and in college. And
well, what would you say your level was when you got to the States?
Pre-intermediate. Intermediate.
What was the hardest thing you had with?
It was easy for me to do like everyday communications. I wasn't quite there at the abstract conversations and talking for fun. But I couldn't
That's what I tell
myself
people
to
when I
even,
learned
like,
Spanish when I
guess.
was in Spain.
Could
It was
guess.
like I got really good at like saying my name, where I was from, what am I doing, like the stuff
Leisure
I didn't
stuff.
realize that you always say when you talk to people for the first time.
Yeah.
But if I had to tell them like what happened to me over the weekend, or I had this crazy dream last night, like I had no idea where to start. So it's like the stuff. It's funny. It's like
there's
jiu-jitsu.
like functional language and there's and conversational. I don't know. The things you say for fun, it's just to talk to people, to know them better.
What about talking
And
on the
it's-
phone? Did you
it's-
struggle with talking
Oh,
over the phone?
shit.
Yeah, right. You can't
First
look at
half
people's
a year,
face.
it was terrible. Yeah, you can't see a person. You have to like ask
You have to
2
guess.
or
You're
3
like, I'm
times.
sorry,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that-
was difficult.
Talking on the phone is always rough, but it's funny. It's like jiu-jitsu. It's like anything, I guess. It's like you
Yeah.
get good at what you practice. So it's like, how come I'm not good at doing barambolos? Well, do you ever
Yeah,
barambolo
yeah.
when you roll? Well, no.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck do you expect then?
Yeah.
You know. Well, yeah, man, that's awesome, Brian. What's the significance of that shirt? You're wearing like a Street Fighter shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Where
Now, this
everyone
is-
had the shit kicked out. Is there anyone that doesn't have the shit kicked out of them?
that is.
They're all defeated.
Yes. No, just a shirt.
Is there like a character that's? I mean, there's definitely a character there that's missing, right?
I mean,
Or they
I
all-
think this is from the original like SNES, Street Fighter Turbo, I believe.
Fuck, I think that is everyone. I'm trying to go through it. There's nobody. Yeah, you've got Blanca there. You've got E Honda.
Vega.
So I was thinking maybe it was like a real clever one, where it's like my character's the one that's not there
Yeah.
because he's the one that kicked everyone's asses. Like Akuma showed up, you know what I mean? But
I don't think he existed.
no,
well.
he didn't exist back then. But yeah, I feel like there were more back then. But you're right, back then.
There wasn't. The mechanics for video games have changed quite a bit.
Oh, I just spammed like I always played E Honda or Kung Lee and just spammed the I was like I couldn't do the fucking fireball shit with the.
Nah, it's especially if you go to the bonus stage where you had to beat the car. Those are the best characters to have.
Oh
anyway.
yeah, yeah, that was.
Like I said,
Oh,
no, gaming
man.
has definitely come a long way, especially when you look at that versus like Super Smash Brothers Ultimate or something like that.
Yeah.
One of these new age fighting games where there's a lot of things going on.
So when, real quick, like when did you start? Like you're one of these guys. The first time I met you, it was probably my second or third week. Viet was leaving.
Oh,
and
I
we
remember
were
that then.
and we were talking. Yeah, and we were talking about how
He brought
to
the
pronounce
booze.
his name. Well, he brought all this booze.
Yes,
he
that
brought
was-
like 3 handles of rum. I felt like, or
I know
multiple
there was
handles.
Jameson also, and I was
Yeah,
like, ooh, this is risky.
Yeah, he brought a. Yeah, he brought. So I was like, okay, this is how everyone rolls around here. I can handle that.
That wasn't even how it went. That was like the first time I'd seen liquor. I was like, oh, we do beer. I'm like, well, this. Yeah, no, he literally, right after we got done.
Oh.
Literally, we're doing shots of Jameson. It was like a long tenure, something like a 12-year Jameson. I was like, oh my.
Well, that was the thing. So I remember hanging, and you were there, and I just, because I hadn't been here long, I was like, oh, it's one of the brown belts. But I've never really seen you. Like you said, your schedule doesn't really permit
Yeah.
to come to the times where I'm trained, which I'm an evening guy. But I remember Paul making the comment, and now that I know Paul, it makes more sense because he always makes these kind of jokes. It was like we were all hanging around chit-chatting and again, talking about how to pronounce Viet's name,
Yeah.
Viet or Viet or all this. And then he said, well, everyone calls me this, but my mom calls me that. And, well, shouldn't we call it the way your mom calls you? Like, isn't that the proper way? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But then somewhere along the line, you, Carapellucci, and someone else were like, had made your own little group and were going over like half guard sweeps or something.
Yeah, just
and
discussion.
Paul was like, look at these fucking bozos over here. It's like we're drinking beer and saying bye to Viet. And these guys are trying to fucking do like jujitsu.
They're trying to get better.
And I was like, man, look how dedicated these guys are. Like these are the real like academics of the
Right.
of the community.
Well, anytime you get one-on-one with Carapellucci, you should take it. The guy's a superstar.
So when did you start? I'm assuming you did not start here, like, or did you?
No, I actually started under Paul back now. Granted, I don't know the dates. If I pull up pictures or like Facebook or whatever nonsense, I could probably locate it. But it was at University in Dean.
Oh, at Knockout Fitness.
No, it was actually right after Knockout Fitness.
Okay.
'Cause I knew of Knockout Fitness, but it wasn't on my
Okay.
timeline. Bobby was there. Ben Saunders was there. Carapellucci was there. Jason Patino, Steve Ramos.
This was like the fight team.
Yeah, no, this was, and I love it because back then there wasn't really a class to differentiate. It was just you get tossed in with these monsters, and if you survive, good for you.
And you had no like this. You were a white belt.
Yeah, I had trained, like we discussed a little bit before. I trained like in a garage with a couple of guys.
Yeah,
and I'd done a Naga where I went in there and actually won fairly easily, but like I'd been training for 6 months.
Raw natural talent.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
I wish that it was a very, very shallow pool, thankfully. And unfortunately, someone has to win, and that someone randomly was just me.
Yeah.
As I look back, it wasn't some technical feat or any level of mastery.
So were you able to train a little more when you were earlier on in your journey? Like, because I feel like you're training 3 days a week at best?
Yeah, about that. Like this week was 3 days. Usually, right now it's just Tuesdays and Thursdays, just because that's what the work schedule allows.
Well, yeah.
But back then, I was actually training. It was crazy. So I waited tables back then, and I lived in Lake County, so it was about an hour and so drive. I would drive down first thing in the morning. I would train in the morning class. I would sit in my car all day, and I would train the night classes, and I would go home.
Oh, this sounds like those stories of these. That sounds like everyone's story where they drive all this way, sleep in the car, eat like there's empty peanut butter containers in the base of the car, or
there
cup
was a lot
noodles.
Of cottage cheese. I remember the Publix used to make one with like pineapple. I don't even think they make it anymore, but I would just eat that in the car and just sit there, watch like whatever little jiu-jitsu video or whatever YouTube nonsense. I mean, I was a white belt. I didn't know any better.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. So, when you first did jiu-jitsu for the first time, and I asked Tommy this, and I've asked everyone this, and the reaction always seems to be the same. It's like, did you have this kind of almost visceral addiction to it right away? Where like,
yeah. And it was crazy. I think most people got in the exact same way. I was watching, and at the time it had already long since passed, but I was watching an early UFC with like Hoist Gracie submitting a bunch of people. He was much smaller then, and I was like, oh, what is this? There's something to this.
What's that guy wearing? It? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, there's something to that. I trained a bunch of martial arts before that. I trained Taekwondo, Shaolin Kung Fu, Wing Chun for a number of years. And I got into jiu-jitsu, and I was like, oh, this kind of, it just felt right, you know? It really did. Felt right with the personality, the style of it, and I did it. It just so happened the first thing I ended up doing was half guard, and now I'm trapped there. Like, I try to work other things, obviously, but it just began, and then I got tossed in there, and I had no idea who any of these people were. They're all names now. Julian trained there. Julius trained back then, and they were all regular people. They weren't the monsters that you see now. I think I saw Dylan a little bit. Yeah, but no, that was it back then, and it was just all in the regular class. I remember just getting mauled day in and day out, like literal, like terrible, awful maulings. Getting guillotined to the point where like my neck was messed up for like 2 weeks.
Oh, I fucking hate that. I hate when we. Well, I don't hate it, but it's like when we do bow and arrow.
Yep.
And you go with a white belt, it's like half the time it's like, fuck, I'm gonna have a bruised throat now.
Yep.
And
I mean, they're spazzing. They don't know any
Yeah,
better.
it happens all the time.
like I thought I was catching a cold. I was like, fuck, my throat won't stop hurting.
It hurts. It hurts to swallow.
Yeah, it hurts to swallow to eat.
So, did I catch a cold or something?
And then I think back, I'm like, oh wait, there's a gi burn right here. Oh yeah, that's what happened. I just got
This whole thing hurts like the whole neck.
your whole Adam's apple gets smashed. Yeah, it sucks. It absolutely sucks. So, how long, Brian, were you at each of the belt ranks?
Oh man, I'm trying to remember how long I was a white belt. I don't think I was a white belt all that long. I want to say it was probably about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, probably about a year at white belt. And then, actually, no, I think I've got that backwards. I was confusing it with blue belt. I was like a white belt for like 4 years. Yeah, I was a 4-year white belt. And any normal-minded person.
Sandbagger.
I mean, I don't.
You're like cleaning up nagas, and you're like racking them up. I'm double golding and all the fucking new breeds and nagas.
Yes, actually, a person who had a better mindset than me would be like, okay, test yourself and see if you can beat people who are a higher belt. Me, being the caveman that I am, was like, nope, white belt it is. About to crush these kids.
That's awesome. So then so after 4 years of terrorizing and being the world's best white belt, because someone has to be the world's best white belt.
Yes.
And you had that title.
They're generally wrestlers, like Phil Davis or something. They get their white belt, go compete at Worlds and dominate.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's even like Bubba at Fusion. Like Bubba's, an All-American wrestler, and he's a blue belt.
Oof.
You know what I mean? But he's gonna murk everybody because
Of course.
he's a fucking.
I mean,
he's been grappling since he's a little kid at a very high level.
Spent his time on the mats.
Yeah.
Don't let the belt confuse you.
How long at blue belt then, roughly?
Blue belt was actually very short. I was at blue belt for right about a year, maybe a little bit less than that.
Damn, bro.
Well, I think a large part of that was the 4+ years at white belt. I think
But I feel it didn't. That's almost like a violation of IBJJF rules. Like you're supposed to be a minimum of 2 years, I think, at blue belt. Maybe they didn't have those rules back then. I don't know.
It's possible. I'll never forget my favorite tournament ever. Was a blue belt, and I'd still competed a lot at the time. I went and I did they had a like weight, and then they had a blue belt absolute. So all the weights competed.
Yeah.
And then I won weight, and then I won the blue belt absolute, and I was like, oh shit. And no matter what tournament I won, that was the most exciting because it was tough. There was a lot of good people there. And there was 2 guys from the same gym. I think it was Brazilian top team. And I was like just talking. They're like really cool dudes. And like I beat one of them. And then he's like, I was like, oh, well, good luck the rest of the day. And he's like, I would wish you best of luck, but you're actually competing against one of the other guys from the gym next. And I was like, understandable. So.
Well, it's funny because Paul has said multiple times that sometimes he thinks blue belt's the hardest division because you don't know. Like a guy like me is a blue belt, and I've been training just under 2 years. You were a blue belt, and you had 5 years under your belt. Yeah.
Pretty sure I'd had MMA fights as a blue belt also.
Yeah, and there could be a guy that like quit and come back, and they're like 8-year, 10-year blue belts, and you're like,
yep.
They're still like, so you don't know. Once you get to purple and brown, I guess it starts to taper out. So yeah. Okay, so you broke the rules and got your purple belt within a year. That's awesome. So then, from purple to brown, where you're at now, how long roughly?
That was probably the longest, only because work scheduled. I disappeared for easily 2.5, maybe 3 years, and then like I would like show my face occasionally, but I wasn't really training. Like I might have stepped on a mat maybe 5 times in like that 3-year span. And it was just work, and I allowed work to take over, and I thought about it. I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm not happy doing this, so let's at least find something that's better for the schedule that'll allow me to at least pay my bills, and then do something that makes me happy, which is obviously jiu-jitsu. Yeah. So do you think belts matter? I mean, yes and no. But this is such a long-winded reason why I think this. I think belts matter to the extent that you need to have some level of proficiency. So let's say escaping bad positions. If you're trapped in mount and you have zero idea how to escape mount, that should be on the list of techniques necessary to achieve said stripe or said belt. Okay. And even if you're not successful, at least knowing what the proper things to do are. Even if you don't necessarily can execute it all the time, at least you're doing the right steps. Yeah, because trust me, I have lots of techniques I know how to do. Still can't execute them depending on who I'm going up against. If I'm going against the guys just better than me, that's how it works. What about you, Roman? Do you think belts matter?
Yes, they do. Because it's a reflection of the amount of work and effort people put into their hobby, or maybe a profession. So yeah, it matters.
So my counter is, what like if you go with someone, let's say you go with a brown belt and you beat up the brown belt, what's, or any blue belt goes with the brown.
Yeah, you might be stronger, you might be better, you might be bigger, but a brown belt is still a brown belt. It's his 10 years of effort, or like 5 years of effort. So you think it's a reflection of the effort? It's not a reflection of the skill. It's a reflection of work you put into that.
So you don't believe, so you don't believe a black belt needs to have a certain level of technical proficiency. You're saying wherever they net out because of that experience that they put in, that the time they need to put on the mat is where they net out. But I'm not going to put a minimum level, like you have to be better than this in order to have a black belt.
We have to start from the beginning. Do you think to get promoted you have to compete, or you don't? Like, this is the essential, like the competition is the measure of skill, and belt level is the reflection of work you put into that, and
But would
work
you-
does not necessarily equal skill. You know, some people are more talented to begin with, and they just advance faster than some.
Would you not say though that you compete every day in training, right?
You can say so, but a formal competition is a little different.
Of course.
Would you obligate all black belts to compete at some point in their journey?
It's a difficult question. Who am I to tell black belts what to do? At the point where I'm at, I think it's good to compete at some point before you reach brown or black belt, just to get the idea what you're getting into. But
Have you competed?
no, I have not.
Busted!
Yep. It's me.
So, do you think it's fair to just make a differentiation between recreational and competitive practitioners? So, this is a recreational blue belt, recreational purple belt versus a competitive purple belt, competitive brown belt.
Yeah, but then you run into the situation where recreational purple belt beats up a competitive brown belt, and what you do next? Nah, I don't.
You're saying the recreational guy beats up the competitive guy?
Yes. What if this happens in a hypothetical situation? From different gyms, different levels, we don't know.
That person's at least a brown belt then. Goddamn, man. Like, give him the...
I don't think it's fair. I think the current system in place is just fine.
So I've had this wild fantasy that it should be like based strictly on, like we should have some, it's almost like a video game. We should have some amount of points. Like we start with a belt, and those belts have stripes that we can remove very easily and add. And each time I roll with someone, whoever wins takes one of my stripes. And that way, and as you accumulate victories, then you level up.
See, now there's a...
Yeah, but you learn more when you get submitted, arguably. Okay?
Yeah.
You don't necessarily learn something when you submit someone, but you definitely learn something when you get submitted.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all. I completely agree with that statement.
Yeah, exactly.
You also run into an issue with that. Let's say you're trying something new. Let's say you're working on new things to expand your ability. Yeah, trust me. I've been trying to do a lot more butterfly guard stuff, which I am admittedly bad at, and bad stuff happens because I'm bad at it. But you still got to work it. So does that mean that the guy who's working his A1 game versus the guy who's trying to bring up the parts where he's lagging?
That's true. So then we have to have kumite time and non-kumite time. It's like, this is a friendly scrimmage. This is a, I get to take scalps on this one.
But then again, some people treat, because
Scalps are cool. Scalps are cool.
I think we could actually do it with locks of hair. Yeah. And if people don't have hair on their head, we'll just take body hair, because some people are just hair in other places.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Roman, how many more times are you going to train before you head out?
As many as I can. I'll try to do Monday and maybe Tuesday morning and night. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I have things to do. I need to pack. I need to get some boxes or something, you know.
I know there's so many jokes. It's like you're in boxes. I actually make the joke that I never unpack, because that way I can move whenever I need to. It's like I just keep the shit in boxes.
I used to move a lot before that, and I used to keep a set of totes, you know, the plastic tubs, just to dump my stuff in there and shove them in the car.
That's really good to make like really nasty like mixed drinks in like in college. We used to we used to do that. We used to like take like Limerita and then some like Everclear and just mix that shit together and just hand out cups. The nastiest part of that was anytime it dropped on the floor, it was the stickiest shit you've ever seen. Like it wouldn't, like I had to scrub that. Anyway, that's a side note. Brian, are you coming to promotions on the 7th?
I requested it off. Like I said, I don't exist for the most part. I requested it off. Hopefully I get it off, and I'd like to come and show some support from the guy who shows his face every decade or so.
Ideally, actually, in future, it might be better if Paul was more organized with some of this stuff. Although he's been very organized about the date of this, is taking your day off on the Gauntlet day, on the Shark Tank, not the Gauntlet, but the actual Shark Tank, because we Shark Tank guys, so you get to smash, and that's fun.
See, I don't.
See, Mark came up to me. He's like, "I already took off work," and he's like, wide-eyed and stuff. I was like, Mark, you're taking way too much pleasure in this right now.
Mark gets very excited about joking somebody.
Well, he's been asking me to get on the podcast, so I'll have to have him on, and then he can defend himself while we attack him from all fronts.
I mean, he likes he does whatever he likes.
Well, we're not talking about what he likes. It's talking about his impact on those around him and what their reaction is. And I would argue a lot of sane people consider other people's feelings maybe a little more than Mark does when it comes to rolling. But
isn't he known as like the white belt injurer?
Just to be clear, I have no problem with Mark.
I don't mind calling him. I'll call him out. I don't mind.
I haven't seen it, but I keep hearing these stories of him injuring white belts and like infants and stuff. So I was like, I brought my baby. My baby's injured now.
I haven't got injured by Mark yet.
Yeah. Well, he'll appreciate to hear that, but he's on the shit list right now because he's allegedly popped a white belt's arm. So Paul said you can't roll with white belts.
He rolled with me. I rocked my white belt today.
That's true. So I'll have to send that as a violation of policy. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. But Roman, Godspeed.
Oh, yeah.
We'll catch you down the road, but I'll be training with you before you leave. And Brian, you're always welcome.
Oh, yeah.
We love that melodious voice.
Thank you.
All right, you guys.